Thank you.
Class, please give us the PPT.
There will be so many questions coming to your mind. You just follow this course. I will tell everything. Okay, don't ask this question right now. This PPT will be shared, the books and everything, or whatever question is coming, everything will be, the answer will be given to you. Okay, just wait and listen whatever I am saying. So let's say how a wheel of a train is, if somebody is kicking a ball, how the ball will move, everything everything is based on the some mechanics. And the right question it should come into your mind is how all these motions are happening. If these questions comes to your mind, then you will start finding the solution, and then mechanics will help you. All these motions, whatever we have discussed so far, are interactions of different bodies and effects of force acting on the body. What are the interaction? That is friction. If there is friction between two bodies, how friction is controlled? What is the value of frictional force? If there is a force acting on the body, what will be the effect of that force? So this is what this is what controlling the motions, and study of this is actually based on mechanics. The branches of science dealing with the effect of force on bodies is called mechanics, right? So this, in this particular course, we'll be studying what will be the effect of forces on any bodies. Okay. Textbooks which are required for this particular course. This is one good book and very famous. It is Timo Young, Engineering Mechanics by Timo Young. This book you can purchase, which is a very good book. Also for dynamics and also for statics, also Merriam Craig, these two books also is very important. You can follow this book. Apart from these two books, this PPT will be shared. Apart from whatever is written in the slide, if you want to take notes, you can go ahead and write down. But these books, names and books, these are not required. You don't require to write, because this PPT will be shared and you can see the books later also. Okay, there are a few more books which are given here. That is one book, Merriam Craig has also said. There is this Beers and Johnson, Sames, book by Sames, and this Bhabikatti. So all these books are there, which are mentioned here. You can always see all these books. Okay. Now, if we go into the details of engineering mechanics and how it is classified. So if you see in real life, if you see bridges, railways, even if you are going to a park, you see roller coasters. Okay, you can, if you are seeing cars, you go to a power plant, all these are coming from application of engineering. Okay, so prime motive of engineers is to provide comfort and ease to human life, and that is what the prime job of engineers, to give solutions of the problems. There are engineering marvels. If you go from the ancient time, it is there. You go to Egypt, you will see the pyramids, Eiffel Towers, and there are numerous marvels which are standing today also, which are carrying the marvelous of work of engineering. Although maybe in those time the understanding of engineering was not in the shape of whatever we are studying in the present day, but still there was certain understanding. Using that, actually they built those huge structures. Okay, there was certain engineering was there. Greek actually Greeks were initially around 3,000 years, 3,300 years back. They actually built some arch bridges which are built by stones. Maybe there was some calculations based on which they have built. Romans were also great builders. They have arch bridges, but compared to Greeks, they have the lighter bridges. And nowadays, you will see that concrete bridges and steel bridges are there, which are very lighter comparison to those ancient bridges. So it took thousands of years to develop engineering understanding, which we will be seeing in this particular course. So let's say if I can cover a topic within 15 minutes, let's say theory of beams, we can cover this topic in 15 minutes. But that concept actually took, let me tell you, for this topic, it took almost 400 years to develop the proper concept. So it is not like, if you have a doubt and it is not being solved, because, it takes time. And sometimes, engineering concept actually over the thousands of years, it actually progressed and it came to the present form. And there are always the scope of research and development in future course of time, but it took many years. You will see all these engineering PSN, which maybe the engineering term was not that, but that structures are still there, and some kind of understanding was there. You all have studied Archimedes' law of buoyancy, which is almost 287 before
Yes,
Christ. 280, I mean almost 200 years before Christ. So he actually generated or constructed various hosting devices to help the agriculture. After that, there are some understanding by Leonardo da Vinci. He actually had certain he actually has the correct idea of how arch bridges are there. He produced some drawings, and also he studied the strength of materials in those time, but not in a very vague format, or you can say there was very preliminary or pioneering understanding was there. Then Aristotle came, then Galileo came. Okay, so based on this, all these scientists which are came, then after that Newton came in Newton around 1642 to 1727 Newton came. And then proper shape of science, whatever we are studying, came into the picture. But before that, actually there are so many researchers. They have tried to understand what is the principles based on which these actions are being executed. Okay, so these things are there, and we need to understand that these, what are those principles. So basically engineering mechanics is divided into mainly broadly two categories. One is solid, one is fluid. Okay, so in this particular course we will concentrate on the mechanics of solids only, which is also divided into two categories. One is mechanics of rigid bodies and mechanics of deformable bodies. There are few engineering branches like civil, mechanical, etc. They have to design the beams, columns, and they have to also study the strength of material. So in the future course of time, they have to study the mechanics of deformable bodies. But for this course, we'll be studying mainly mechanics of rigid bodies. Okay. Any one of you can tell me what do you mean by rigid bodies? Anyone? What is rigid body?
In which
Hello, sir.
Hello.
that is
Distance between 2 points are same.
constant.
What's your name?
The rigid body is the body which, when applied by the external force, doesn't
Yes.
change the shape.
No. Oh, who is the other one? This is also right, but who is the other one?
एक बॉडी को move
Let's
करने
Sir,
के
say.
rigid body is a body in which the distance between 2 points are constant and doesn't change with
Point?
respect to the
Yes,
distance.
yes. Acha, you all are right, but let's okay. Let's see this. Okay, so mechanics of rigid bodies will be studies. Will be studying, and in those cases in rigid bodies, mechanics of rigid bodies, there are two parts. One is statics and dynamics. Okay, dynamics is also divided into two parts, that is kinetics and kinematics. So these things we will mainly study. Okay, before we go into the details, we need to know some basic units, which are length, time and mass in SI unit, that is mass, second and kg, and secondary unit is velocity, acceleration and force. Units are mass per second for velocity, mass per second square for acceleration, and Newton for force. This we all know, we have studied. So in this particular course, whatever we will go through, it will, you have already, you are introduced to these topics in your school days, but we will take it some further, and and we will see that how motions, or what is the effect of force in a general term. So before we go into the details, we need to know certain terms, which is called, let's say, particle. What is particle? The idealization of particle is useful dealing with a translatory motion of rigid bodies that could have the size of a car or even a planet. For example, while studying planetary motions, sun and planets, moon, a satellite orbiting the earth, and seen from the earth as considered as a particle. Mainly, particle is generally, it has negligible dimension comparing to the motion of that particular particle. Let's say if you are studying the planetary motion, that means how all the planets move in this particular solar system. So compared to the motion of the planet, the volume of the planet is very small, negligible. So although, let's say, volume of Earth is so huge to us, but when we will study the motion of Earth, how it is rotating around the sun, then Earth can be taken as a particle, because the length of that is very high compared to the dimension of the Earth. So that's why it is called as particle. Particle is a negligible. So we'll come into this. It is almost a negligible dimension comparing to the motion in discussion. The assumption cease to be valid when rotation of the rigid bodies are involved. Now, asking about the rigid and deformable bodies. So you see in this particular slide, the two bodies are applied by two forces. You see, if these two bodies are deformable bodies, the first shape will be generating, and there will be, certainly there are some deformation. But if these two bodies are rigid body, then there will be no deformation. But in nature, if we apply some force in a particle or in a body, there will be deformation. Certainly there will be deformation, but let's say if you take a piece of rock and if you apply some force, you cannot see any deformation. But ideally, you will see in nature if we apply some force, there will be some amount of deformation which may not be visible in naked eye. So we can say in nature that perfectly rigid body is rare. Okay, so if you consider any body in this nature, and if you apply some load or force, there will be some deformation. So it is said that perfectly rigid body is very rare. But in this particular course, we will be studying the rigid bodies. Okay. You see, in a beam, a force P is applied. If that beam is rigid, there will be no deformation. But if the beam is flexible in nature and rigidity is less, then you can actually observe the deformation in that beam. As some of you are saying, that relative position of any two particle in a rigid body, or let's say any 2 point like A and B, if these relative positions doesn't change under the action of force, then it is called rigid body. Let's say here the force F1, F2, F3 are applied, and the position of the body is changing, but the relative position of 2 points or 2 particles are not changing. So that is a rigid body. Okay. It is defined as a definite amount of matter, the parts of which are fixed in position relative to one another under the application of load. Actually, solid bodies are never rigid. They deform under the action of applied forces. In those cases where this deformation is negligible compared to the size of the body, this as I was saying, some course on there will be certainly some
voice is
deformation.
lagging.
But let's say, please mute your mic. Mute your mic. So if that deformation, amount of deformation, whatever you are observing, very negligible compared to the dimension of the body, then it can be considered as a rigid body. So as I was discussing about the particle, a body whose dimensions are negligible, and when compared to the distances involved in the discussion of its motion is called a particle. So if you are considering, if you are discussing about a motion of any particle, so the dimension of that particle is very, I mean, negligible compared to the motion. For example, while studying the motion of sun and earth, they considered as particles since their dimensions are small when compared to the distance between them. So that is, let's say, sun and earth, they are huge, but when we consider the motion, the distance between them is so huge compared to their dimensions. So they can be taken as or considered as. So in this particular course, as I had told you that we will be studying the effect, we need to understand what is force, right? And I think all of you have gone through in your school days the concept of force, scalars, vectors. And in this course, in the preliminary classes, we have to repeat all this because based on that only we will solve some problems. But I know you have already gone through this, but still we have to. But in proper sense, what is force? If I ask you, it is that agent which cause or tend to cause or changes or tend to change the state of rest or of the motion of a mass. So from where it is coming? I think you all know that this is coming from Newton's law, right? That if a body is in rest condition, if you want to change its state, you need a force. So it is that agent which cause or tend to cause or changes or tends to change the state of rest or of the motion of a mass is a force, right? We know force is a vector quantity, but if a force is fully defined when the following four characteristics are known. What are those? As this is scalar, this is vector, so it will have magnitude and direction, we all know. But also, apart from that, you need to know where it is acting, because if you don't know the point of application, then the effect of force will not be known to you. And also you need to know in what sense it is applying, whether it is a compressive force or it is a tensile force. So that you have to understand. So let's say one example, like a body is here where a force is acting on in a point A. So to fully define this force, what is the magnitude of the force? That is 100 kilonewton. What is the direction? That is 30 degree with the horizontal. But also we need to know that point of application, that is A. If the point of application is not A, and in other point of this body, the effect of this force will be different. So to fully understand, you need to also mention applying, and also in which sense, whether this force is applying towards A or it is away from the A point. If it is pulling that body, or that means 100 kilonewton force is acting away from A point, then the response of the body will be different. Or if it is acting towards the A point, then this response will be completely different, right? So this is in a proper sense how a force can be. Scalars and vectors, just go through this because you already knew. Scalar quantity is only magnitude will be there. In vector, there will be magnitude as well as the directions. Like length, area, time will be scalar. Force will be force, velocity, accelerations are termed as vectors because it requires directions. So here, actually in this particular course, we will be discussing about the forces, scalars, vectors, and then we will certainly enter into the area of equilibrium and all those topics. But as today is the first class, so I will stop here. This PPT will be uploaded, okay, and Monday 9 a.m. there will be a class, right? So
Yes, sir.
So can you define about the tensor quantity?
tensor quantity will come later, okay. Let's say you all know that scalar, vector is there, tensor, that means here only force and magnitude is there. Let's say if there is one more dimension is there, okay, one more factor is there, so it can be nth time. We'll discuss about tensor later, okay. But
Okay.
but first whatever, there are so many topics and mechanics doesn't end. Whatever we will be covering here, there are so many topics we can go on and on. But for this particular course, I ask you to just follow the classes first, then we will do the discussion in a later stage when we'll have some time, because if we go into that details, then it will never end, right? So first, let's just do the needful first, that okay, these are the courses, these are the topics we have to study. Then we will, of course, there are scope of discussion and we will go in those areas, okay. So I am actually, so this is, that's how we will see this, will actually conduct this class. So next class will be on Monday, and as I
Sir,
have
the syllabus.
I have actually